I am again today running a short video wanting to talk today about how we really can rise into our kind of true potential, really finding out who we really truly are, no matter, and the magnificence that goes along with that, no matter what's happened to us in life so far. So, talking about this space of really being able to step into our power, to become really visible, particularly if we've got our own business, stepping into our truth and really understanding and owning and embodying our unique gifts that, we are here to share with the world. So in this video, I'm gonna just talk briefly about, why this becomes an issue and actually what we can do to resolve that. And all of this work that I'm talking about, particularly this week, is all part of my Surviving to Thriving mastermind program, my signature program. And to really come into this space of really being able to thrive, we need to be able to see our power that is available to us, see our unique gifts, see what it is that we're here to share with the world, what our real purpose is, our soul's purpose. And that's when we can get really unstuck. And that is when our true abundance can come in, and all the goodness that comes with that. And actually we're in that space then of being truly open to receive. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about my story, where it's relevant. I won't go into real depth on my story in this particular video, but, all of the things that I work with, talk about, I have experienced in my own healing journey and starting my own business. And I do personally think that, if you're coming from a space of either trauma or having a really seriously dysregulated nervous system, starting your own business particularly can feel a lot harder. So just to give you a quick introduction for anybody who doesn't know me as yet. So my name's Anna Rushmer and I'm a hypnotherapist and breathwork facilitator. And I basically empower women, liberate women from whatever shit has happened in life so far, basically, and help them to move into this space, or help them to learn themselves how to move into this space of real thriving. And this is with, really deep transformational work. So in my Surviving to Thriving mastermind, I focus on 3 specific areas, but we work on these, within this whole space of time anyway. So it's not sort of sectioned into 3 specific areas, but they're around deconditioning your chaos, awakening your heart, and then this third one of rising to your true potential. So really understanding who you are, as opposed to who you are as the version of you in this world now that has gone through, whatever you've experienced so far to date. And it doesn't matter, where you're coming from, where you're joining me within this program on, because all of the work is bespoke for each client anyway. So it's a mastermind, so there are group elements to it, but there's an awful lot of one-to-one intensive clearings as well, and all my work is bespoke for each client. And when I talk about how this is possible coming from a space of even really quite deep trauma, that is because that has been my healing journey. So my story has been about healing from childhood trauma, so sexual abuse trauma, kind of abandonment trauma, mother woundings, and all the kind of concoction of destructive behaviors that all created later on in life as well, in my more adult life, or as I was growing up. And, you know, moving into this space of actually having peace of mind, being able to, you know, feel real joy, real love in life, when actually I was 16 years ago, was in a space of kind of real desperation actually, and really not wanting to be here very much longer, in all honesty. You know, relationship stuff was completely exploding. So, you know, love, connection was completely, yeah, pretty much gone. You know, mental health, physical health issues, and, you know, absolutely had no idea about who I was or what was really going on in life, because everything was just so chaotic for me. So, you know, the women that I work with can very well come from that sort of same feeling quite desperate, you know, trauma space. It may be that, you know, you're further along within your healing, and that, you know, is obviously that's obviously a great space to come into this program as well. So, you know, any questions around any of it, of course, just drop me a comment or a quick DM, and that is absolutely fine. We will have a quick connection about that, and see where you are at the moment. But so why do we have this problem in the first place? How do we effectively kind of lose ourselves along the way? So basically, as we kind of journey through our lives, we kind of start to disconnect from ourselves. We disconnect from our magic, from our power. You know, particularly if we've come up against shock, trauma, fearful events, we kind of start to disconnect. It's a bit of a survival mechanism in itself to kind of disconnect from ourselves and almost step back from ourselves, so that you know, we don't go too far into that shock and trauma. As I say, it's a survival mechanism. So we can start to disconnect from that point. We then also will learn various lessons as we go through life. We may have people telling us who they think we are, you know, and whether we're good enough, whether we're worthy, whether we're deserving, all of these kind of things. We may learn things that, you know, alongside the trauma and the shock, we may learn things that we become fearful of, or we think are maybe dangerous. So, for example, this was on a very subconscious level rather than conscious, but I had a real issue with making myself visible in my business. And what it came back to when I worked on it, and I worked on it through hypnotherapy predominantly, what it came back to was that actually being visible was actually physically dangerous for me. So, you know, life-threateningly dangerous for me. Because the connection there was that, you know, my sexual abuse was linked to me making myself visible. Now, we know consciously that is, you know, doesn't make sense. Those links don't make sense necessarily. But it was heavily programmed into my subconscious. So I was literally stuck, you know, and actually kind of going into hiding, not making myself visible, and actually thinking that I was as well, almost tricking myself into thinking that I was being visible when I actually wasn't. So with all of these things, we learn all these various things, and as we do, we kind of get smaller as we go through life. So we and none of these things are our fault, I hasten to add, but we kind of make ourselves smaller. We kind of make ourselves fit into the boxes, you know, we kind of squish ourselves down. So like, I've written posts before about, you know, are you squashing your wild woman? Is the wild woman getting squished and put into a box? You know, maybe at school, was probably not too much maybe about it. We learn at school and in corporate, you know, as well, that we are supposed to be a good girl. We're supposed to perform in this particular way to get blah, blah, blah. You know, that may come up in religion in some way for us as well. We may learn that we're too this, that and the other for other people. So too sensitive, too emotional used to come up a lot for me. And we, you know, we then again disconnect from ourselves, and we can't see our true power within ourselves. So by the way, those things that other people tend to say we're to something or other tend to be our superpowers as well. So you know, my sensitivity, my emotional side, absolutely is what I'm using within my work, you know. So the solution, we have our wonderful, you know, beautiful, unique, totally unique selves hidden under these layers of trauma, learnings, you know, life events, life learnings. And that is where our, as I say, totally unique being is. But she's so, you know, she's so underneath all of those layers. She's so squished down. She's so hard for us to, you know, connect with and most likely see as well. And she's certainly not in that space where she can, you know, truly shine through. There may be cases as well where, you know, our soul may have been shattered, may have been fragmented. So we need to bring all those various parts back together to be able to really see our own light, you know, shine our light, be our true powerful selves. Now, all of this can be done, but we need to, you know, work with it in a way that's efficient and effective, rather than we could work on this for years on end, you know, but bringing all of my work together is bringing all the modalities, all the things that I've experienced throughout my 16 years of healing, and putting those into one program. So basically, you know, people can pick that up and we can work on that program without you needing to go down all the rabbit holes, the dead ends that I did on my journey. So within this particular element of work, we're going to work specifically with your Gene Keys profile. So maybe a little bit of human design as well, but definitely bringing in the Gene Keys. And Gene Keys will allow you to really see the gifts that you already have encoded into your DNA. Okay, so they're already there, and it's just bringing those into our awareness so that you can then really start to feel into them, really start to integrate them, really start to embody them. So it's showing you those gifts, showing what's in your DNA as well, showing you how incredible you are. You know, all of this incredible information about you that is already in you, and why you're so unique, what you're really here to do, and what you need to embody as well to create your incredibly, you know, thriving, successful life. And then, so we work through, you'll get a beautiful Gene Keys report that we will work through, and we will work through, you know, in stages. And with that, we align to our Gene Keys using hypnotherapy and breathwork within my program. So I've talked in a bit more detail about hypnotherapy and breathwork in the previous two videos, so by all means go and check those out. I won't go into too much detail now, just to, you know, not repeat myself too much. But basically this is where the deconditioning happens. So if you've studied human design and breathwork human design and Gene Keys previously, you will know that there is that need to decondition, because, you know, we know who we are energetically, but we also know that we're this different person because we've been conditioned through various means to be this person that we are right now, that's probably quite mind-led as well, highly likely mind-led, rather than being, you know, really embodying who we energetically are within our human design, within our Gene Keys. So the hypno as I said yesterday, hypnotherapy allows us to communicate with our subconscious. So, and the subconscious is so powerful, that it just knows where the root cause of our issues lie. It knows why, and it knows how to heal us, how we need to heal ourselves. So within Gene Keys, we've obviously got if you know anything about Gene Keys at the moment, we've got the gifts, but we've also got the shadows. The profile highlights our shadows. So some of those shadows, in my experience particularly, and with clients actually as well already, but some of those shadows will be more obvious to us. Some will be deeper, in my experience. So we use the Gene Keys profile, link it with, or work it with the hypnotherapy to be able to release those shadows. And you know, we're working through the years from birth here as well, so this is like a really deeply transformational, deep clearing process. It truly is magical. I just love it. I love it myself, and I'm just so grateful and honored to be able to work with it now with other women. I just think it's magical. So we will decondition using hypnotherapy. We'll go into those shadows, but then we're really going to come into integrating and embodying our gifts as well, because it's as much about as much releasing as it is coming into this space of who we truly are, you know, and owning that space. With all of my work, you know, we work on regulating the nervous system as well. So that is, you know, it's a big subject, particularly for people who've experienced trauma. So we will work with regulating that, but also then we're coming into this space within all this work, you know, using breath work as well particularly, but coming into this space of being able to kind of embody our gifts and expand into our full power, really. So embodying and expanding into that space that we want to be, that in that space that of that person that we truly are, if this makes sense. So bringing back all of your power, you know, bringing you back to you, as I say, as opposed to the version of you who has struggled, you know, and has the really obvious kind of signs of that happening in the way that, you know, you were, let's say you were feeling. So we're at this point now where, you know, we're coming into this space of really being the version of us that we're meant to be. So if you have any questions, then by all means, you know, DM me, pop any questions in the comments when we've finished, and I will come back to you, no problem at all. If you're in a space where you just think, oh my God, yes, this sounds good, I'm so done with feeling so stuck, so desperate, you know, I'm done with this bloody trauma following me around and the after effects of it. If you're, you know, you may not have really felt that you've experienced big trauma, but if you're just in that space of thinking, oh my God, you know, you may even be in this space of just feeling like you keep hitting your success ceiling time after time again, and you're done with it, okay? And you are so ready to come into this space of thriving, and also without having to go through years and years of therapy, counselling, you know, coaching, so that we can bring it all together in this efficient, you know, deeply transformational package, then I completely invite you to apply for a free connection call with me around my, well, either my mastermind program or, you know, just to talk to me generally, and we can see which is the best fit for you. Yes, apply for, I invite you to apply. I only work with women who are all in, who are in that space of, right, I'm done, I want this changed, you know, I am ready, I'm taking full responsibility for making this happen. So if that's you, then I 100% invite you to apply for a free connection call with me. Either do that on by DMing me, or I will put a link to my free connection call, and you can book directly in my diary. So I will look forward to speaking to you again soon. Thank you for joining me, and I am sending you lots of love. Take care.